somehow, and now you're here to stay. She's coming home this Christmas Day. And all at once the world, it doesn't seem the same. And in a single night, you know it all has changed. And everything is now as it should be. I have the ornament, I have the perfect tree. I have a string of lights, I have a chance to see everything that my heart thought could be. For of all the dreams, you were the first I knew, and every other one was a charade of you. You stayed close while I was far away. And in the darkest nights, you always were the star who always took us in, no matter who we are. So she's coming home this Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, have a Merry Christmas now. Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
Good morning. This is the time and place for the zoning cases hearing for December 18th, 2019. My name is Bradley Collin, and I will be conducting the hearing as the hearing officer. We have 3 cases scheduled for today, and the relevant exhibits are posted on the panels located directly behind me. If you wish to speak, please write your name and address on one of the speaker forms, one of these guys here, which are located and been provided by the front door and submitted to our planning assistant. I'd like to also inform everyone that the official proceedings of the planning hearing officer's hearing are recorded as part of the public record. Notification of this hearing was accomplished by the use of public notices which were mailed to property owners and tenants located within 500 feet of the subject property, physically posted on the site in question, and placed in the local newspaper. The hearing will proceed as follows. I will read the description of the application or request. The case planner will make a brief overview of the case, give analysis, and make a recommendation. Then the applicant will be asked to come forward, stating both name and address, and will be asked to present the case within a 15-minute time limit. Others in support of or in opposition to the application and interested parties will be asked to come forward, again, speaking name and address clearly, within a 3-minute time limit. Lastly, the applicant will be given the opportunity to make any closing comments, if desired, in response to testimonies given by preceding speakers, and that'll be a 5-minute time limit. The hearing will be closed and the case either taken under submission or a decision may be made. We have two types of cases today. We have a conditional use permit application, actually two of them, and one variance. For both of those applications, 4 required findings of fact are required to be met in order to be considered for approval. The findings of fact for the conditional use permit are: the first, that the proposed use will be consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan. Second, that the use and its associated structures and facilities will not be detrimental to the public health or safety, general welfare, or the environment. Third, that the use and facilities will not adversely affect or conflict with the adjacent uses or impede the normal development of surrounding properties. And fourth, the adequate public and private facilities such as utilities, landscaping, parking spaces, and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. The findings of fact required for the variance are: first, the strict application of the provisions of any such ordinance would result in practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship inconsistent with the general purposes and intent of the ordinance. Second, that there are exceptional circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved or to the intended use of the development of the property that do not generally apply to other property in the same zone or neighborhood. Third, that the granting of the variance will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property improvements in such zone or neighborhood in which the property is located. And fourth, the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the objectives of this ordinance. If the evidence presented in the application and at the hearing meets the required findings, then the hearing officer can either approve or impose conditions for approval on the case in question. If the findings in fact are not evident, then the request will be denied. The first case that we have scheduled for today is a conditional use permit located at 125 Los Feliz Road. It's a conditional use permit application to allow the continued operation of an existing massage establishment called Classic Family Spa, located in a C3 High District 1 commercial service zone. And this time I'd like the case planner to give us a brief presentation. Thank you. Ms. Han.
Thank you, Mr. Collin. The application under consideration is a conditional use permit to allow the continued operation of an existing massage establishment, Classic Family Spa, located in the existing tenant space in the C3 commercial services zone. The establishment is located on the intersection of Orange Street and West Los Feliz Road. The subject establishment occupies the 4,500 square feet ground floor tenant space within an existing 6,600 square foot, 2-story commercial building on the property. Classic Family Spa has been operating in the same space since 2015. Because of past incidents at the Classic Family Spa, the approval authorization for the business was granted for a period of 2 years for the previous conditional use permit. However, considering the business has operated in good faith without any incidents or calls for service at the location, the approval authorization for the business shall now be conditioned for a period of 10 years. Staff was able to make all 4 required findings of fact based on the history of the establishment and the information provided by the applicant, Alicia Lee. No comments regarding the projects were received from the public during the public comment period. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this conditional use permit with the attached conditions of approval. That concludes staff's report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Han. At this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing. I have 2 speaker cards. The first is Alan Chang. Please come forward and remember to state your name and address for the record. And if you can go through are you the applicant or?
No, I'm not an applicant. It's Elisa. I'm the interpreter.
Okay. And please make sure if you're going to be the one to do so, to go through the findings of fact, please.
Oh, facts, okay. To me, okay, basically I'm just...
Please state your name. I'm sorry. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Alan Chan. You mean my home address, is that right? Or
business address.
Oh, okay. The business, it's Elisa. It's like 125 West Los Feliz Road, Glendale.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else do you need? Excuse me.
Did you want to say anything about the application? Did you want to go through the findings, please?
Oh, okay. To me, basically, I'm just an interpreter. I read reading about the cities, the document. I just got it last night. And I think that Elisa, she just follow the city, everything, requirement, code, regulation, whatever. She just want to continues doing the business at that area. That's it.
Okay. Could you go through the findings, please?
Finding the place, okay. All right, okay. You mean the like a ABCD, is that right?
Please.
Oh, okay. How will the proposed use be consistent with the values, elements, and objection of the general plan? And here's like the personal service, right? Yeah. It's personal service, land use such as the massage establishment, and generally they offer a complementary element to surrounding use. A massage establishment, at least this is like a properly used in the C3 commercial service zone, and this subject to the approve of conditional use permit. The B, why will the proposed use and its associated structure and a facility not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or general welfare, or to the environment? And this, within the last calendar year, there has been, I don't know this words, okay. It's been any application of writing day that is detrimental to the public, the health or safety, gathered proof to the environment. Okay, I can say it in short. Okay, everything we follow to the safety, healthy, public healthy. That's as we follow the rule. Okay, yeah. And C, why will be proposed use and facility not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent use or impeded the normal development of surrounding property? Okay. Glendale Memorial Hospital and nursery home are located what street? Okay, from the subject side along the Los Feliz. And massage use and meet the intent of the zoning audience by providing the personal service in the commercial neighborhood. D, explain how adequate public and private facilities such as utility, landscaping, and parking space, and the traffic circulation measure are all will be provided for the proposed use. The massage use had operated at its current location since 2015. A total is space are predicted in the surface the lot. The application does not include any added the plan and the existing building, the history within the I'm sorry, the pursuit spawn and highly correction. Adequate as this is already in the space. I'm sorry, I cannot read about this. Okay, my eyes. Okay, basically it's simple that. So we just follow the city everything regulation. What else? Yeah.
And there's enough parking on the property to be able to accommodate the business?
The parking space. Okay. What about 我们的停车位是怎么样? Is parking space really enough?
Okay, and there's no change to any of the utilities or no added square footage at all being proposed for the business?
然后做生意来讲，没有再加任何其他的增加面积，对吗? No change anything.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question. Have you read through and understand the 21 conditions of approval as proposed by staff?
他说你有了解说，就是说我们有那个规定，有一个关于这么21项的这个要求的标准，你知道吗?
Actually, let's have Elisa come up.
Yeah, 那你就过来吧.
At least for this last question.
就是这是一个最后的问题 ，OK？ Yeah.
And you are Elisa Lee?
Hi, good morning. Yes, it's me.
Okay, and then my question was, the staff has proposed 21 conditions of approval. Have you read through them, and are you in agreement with them?
他说我们有一个21项的这条件那个东西，那么是不是你都同意这样的？
是我同意。
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. 完毕。
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak on this project? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Based on the findings recommended by staff, the facts and information that were presented at the hearing this morning, and other applicable departments' input, I am going to approve conditional use permit case number 1918835, subject to the conditions that are outlined within the staff report. Thank you very much. And then, as a point of clarification, after the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing. It will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses, and have provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date of appearing on the letter. Thank you. The The next case we have on the agenda is conditional use permit for 2941, 2943 Honolulu Avenue. This is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the development of a new 3-story, 18-unit multifamily residential project located with, as I said, 2941 through 43 Honolulu. It's a request to have a residential located on the ground floor. So if we could have a brief presentation from staff. Ms. Toledo?
Thank you, Mr. Collin. As you indicated, the project is case number conditional use permit PCUP 1913153, located at 2941 through 2943 Honolulu Avenue. The applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit. I'm going to emphasize this. It's an approval of a conditional use permit to allow multifamily dwelling units on the ground floor of a proposed project located in the C1 neighborhood commercial zone. This is not a variance. We are not also listening, or you're not reviewing any other entitlements. For example, there is a density bonus application associated with this project with an affordable housing component. That is not before you today. Before you today is only the conditional use permit. The conditional use permit, again, is for the to allow residential uses on the ground floor. Residential uses is a permitted use in this zone, in the commercial C1 neighborhood commercial zone. It is a permitted use. It's a conditional use permit required when there is residential uses on the ground floor. Again, to look at if there are any potential or condition, any environmental concerns or anything related to having residential uses on the ground floor, and to mitigate those through conditions of approval. There are 4 required findings that need to be made, which you alluded to earlier. This is in accordance with GMC 30.12020, where multiple residential dwelling units are permitted in the C1 zone in compliance with the R1250 development standards. The project involves demolishing an existing approximately 4,600 square foot commercial building built in 1983 and associated parking lot, and constructing a new 3-story, 18,493 square foot, 18-unit affordable rental housing project. Again, related concurrent permit applications, as I alluded to earlier, is the density bonus case number PDBP 1904390 to construct the 18-unit affordable rental housing project with 15% very low income rental households. And again, that is not before you today. Only the conditional use permit is before you. The density bonus housing project will be reviewed at a later date. That type of application would be reviewed at and approved at a director level. That does not require a hearing for that particular project, because they are only providing, or they're only requesting rather, 3 concessions or incentives, which does not require a public hearing. There are findings that also need to be made based on state density bonus law for that application. Briefly going through the findings, again, the project is located in the C1 neighborhood commercial zone. And that, as I indicated earlier, that use is consistent with the various elements and objectives of the general plan. Residential uses on the ground floor are allowed in the C1 neighborhood commercial zone, subject to approval of the conditional use permit, and development in accordance with the R1250 high-density residential standards. The project, including the ground floor residential units, is consistent with the land use element in that it revitalizes a current vacant site, the design of which includes subterranean parking and large landscape areas, are adjacent to Honolulu Avenue. I won't go through the entire findings that I've outlined because you have them before you. So I'll just briefly go through some of the key points. In terms of why will the proposed use and its associated structure and facility not be detrimental to public health, safety, and general welfare or the environment? The use and its associated structures and facilities will not be detrimental because the project is located in a neighborhood where both commercial and residential uses are permitted and currently in existence. Apartments with ground floor residences are prevalent along Honolulu to the west of the project, and therefore the proposed use will be consistent with other apartment uses in the neighborhood. Finding C, why will the proposed use and facilities not adversely affect or conflict with adjacent uses or impede the normal development surrounding properties? And lastly, that would be finding C. And finding D is adequate public and private facilities such as utilities, landscape, and parking spaces and traffic circulation measures are or will be provided for the proposed use. Again, those findings are outlined in the staff report, so I won't go through them any further. Few things I'd like to also highlight in terms of the comments received from other departments. Public Works Engineering and Glendale Water and Power submitted general comments pertaining to the new development. As part of their condition, Public Works Engineering will require a 5-foot dedication to the city for street use purposes, a strip of land 5 feet wide along the entire frontage of the property along Honolulu Avenue. However, no comments or concerns were presented related to the conditional use permit request. And lastly, the neighborhood, or in terms of the uses surrounding the site, as outlined in the report, there's an alley and single-family residential uses across the alley to the north. To the north is Hermosa Avenue, and we did receive one comment or one letter, correspondence, in opposition from a neighbor directly abutting the site to the north. You do have a copy of that letter. Mr. Frank Curaz submitted a letter in opposition, and his concerns are outlined in the letter. And I've also addressed some of the points, and I've emphasized one of the comments referenced in his letter regarding a variance. We're not reviewing a variance today. There are no variances requested for this project. Again, the project is the conditional use permit, and that is before you today to allow residential uses on the ground floor. The density bonus application and the affordable component does allow, based on their level of affordability, which is 15%, allow up to 3 concessions or incentives. That is what's requested, but that's under a different application that is not part of your purview today. And moving along to the south, we have commercial uses, C1, neighborhood commercial, and there is also the property is vacant to the south, and we have to the east offices, and to the west we have offices. And again, the subject site is a vacant 2-story commercial building with a surface parking lot, which is proposed to be demolished. I will conclude my remarks, and if you have any questions, I am available to answer them.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Toledo. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. The first speaker card I have is from Mr. Garo Nazarian. Please come forward, stating name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. My name is Garo Nazarian with Domus Design, 109 East Harvard, Suite 306 in Glendale. This application been submitted for a zone C1 zone property, which the residential users are allowed in the C1 zone, and the ground floor subject to conditional use permit and the residential development based on the 1250 zone regulation. And this project, it follows the 1250 zone regulations and exceeds, it's providing more than what is the minimum code requirement is, such as the setbacks. For example, the ground floor minimum setback 5 feet, average 8 feet, but the project is proposing 11 feet setback on the first floor. You know, the entire building, the minimum setback is 11 feet, and it's consistent with the R1250 zone. And the residential use on the ground floor, it's permitted subject to a conditional use permit approval, and because of that, we are here. This property, it has been vacant for a long time because this location or this property or the existing building on the site, it's demonstrated that is not maybe usable or desirable for the area. And the property owner has a program for himself to provide a quality life projects for the entire city. And for that, we are proposing this project at the ground level use, residential use on the ground level, with and we are seeking the approval of this conditional use permit to go forward with this project. The finding number 2, why the proposed use and the associated structure at the facility not be detrimental to the public health. This area on the Honolulu Avenue, as it has been presented by the Milka, it has been developed with a mixed use, mixed uses, commercial, residential, single families, and similar projects on the west of this property. Again, apartment buildings with the ground level residential use, it has been approved. And we have seen in the other areas of the cities that the ground residential use on the ground floor, it was not allowed, but it has been approved by a variance. And it shows that it's not a detrimental to the public health and welfare of the city. So we are not asking any variance. It's just a conditional use permit as it's, permitted or, by the zoning code ordinance, general plan. So this project, it won't be, it won't be detrimental to the public health and safety or environment. Finding number 3, why the proposed project use and the facilities not adversely affect or conflict with the adjacent users. The surrounding area is developed and has been for many years with a variety of the commercial uses along Honolulu Avenue, single-family uses on the north and the south side, and the apartment building with the residential use on the ground floor on the west side. So this this residential use on the ground floor, it doesn't anticipate it to create any problem or, for the surrounding users. And the area, it has been developed fully, and all the facilities, utilities, it's placed there. And according to the comments received from the various departments, none of them, they have any comments. The public works, water and power, they are, they can supply, it's available, all the, utility that we need for this project. So this project is consistent with the general plan and various elements of it. And we are providing with this project because the residential units shortage in the market, which the state law, it has been changed that, to give more density. We are using that as mentioned. We are providing residential units for the area, which I did search, not a lot of the development, residential development in the area, and especially not affordable units in the area. With this project, we are providing that for the area residents, giving equal opportunity of living for the various type of the families. We are providing 3 very low-income family rental units. And based on the letters that we did receive from the neighbor in opposition, first of all, as it has been mentioned before, we are not asking any variance. And it's a misunderstanding from this neighbor, the project. There is no variance needed. It's just a conditional use permit for the ground level use. And we are providing all the amenities, the parking, everything. There is no variance. We are providing a waste of the green space, landscape area, common outdoor area in the ground, common area, and rooftop area, for the common outdoor, which is giving a quality life for the future residents of the building. So we are seeking for approval of this CUP to go forward with the project and provide these residential units as soon as possible into the market for the citizens. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
The property, from what I understand and from being out there when I visited the site, it slopes up from Honolulu toward the alley, correct?
Yes.
So from the plans, it looks like there's a CMU fence wall at the back.
Correct.
Is that existing, and also is it proposed to remain, or will it be replaced with a higher wall?
We will be replaced.
And then
Because
how high of a wall are you thinking of putting in?
I do have, can I approach the...
Sure.
I do have that information in the section.
It's hard to read on the plans.
Okay. I will give you that information.
5'6".
No. This wall, it will be not above the alley level, it will be below. Above the alley level, it will be just 5 feet 6 inches, the fence wall.
That's what I'm asking about.
Yeah, it will be above the alley level, 5 feet 6 inches.
5'6".
But below, I have a retaining wall
For the parking?
for the parking.
Okay. And then what about landscaping in the back? Are you proposing any trees or anything like that?
Yes,
along?
of course. We will bring the landscaping plan with the trees, everything, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be provided, the landscaping plan.
And it looks like we do have some windows at the back. Okay, thank you.
Ben, we have a windows in the back, but I have minimum 15 feet, the windows are 15 feet from the property line, and there is a alley, then the residential units.
Right.
It's a far away from the residential.
Right. Yeah, I've been out there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have a speaker card for Melissa. Did you
Melissa
want to-
Basmanjan is the owner of the property. If you have any questions, she will talk. If you have anything.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Basmajian, 1026 Bramford Drive in Glendale. I am the owner of the proposed project. I think Ms. Toledo and Mr. Nazarian did a great job in highlighting the issues. So I just wanted to mention that this is not our first project. We've worked with the City of Glendale on multiple projects. We've never done anything unlawful. My husband and I grew up in this city, and this is kind of our way of trying to give back to the community. We're blessed enough to give back. We have 4 kids, so we're also thinking about our future. And we're not doing anything unlawful. We always take into consideration the concerns of our neighbors, the city. So whatever recommendations we've been given, we've always followed forward with it and with no problem. So if you have any questions, I'm definitely here to answer.
Okay. I'm okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Just I wanted to mention that this proposed project doesn't deviate or violate any code section. As it's mentioned in the letter, we don't deviate from any code section. We are complying with the code.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience that wishes to speak on this particular case? On this case?
Yeah, is that possible?
You'd have to fill out a speaker card. You can speak if you're here,
Yeah.
but fill out one of these cards.
Fill it out after.
Yeah.
Yeah. actually here. Sipan Nazarian, 705 Balboa Avenue, Glendale. I'm actually here for another project, but I do want to mention I own the property right behind this, almost 2934 Hermosa Avenue. We lived there for 30 years. I don't know about the project. There's a similar project right next to this one, next to the Gilligan's Irish Pub. It was an old body shop. They turned it into a residential with ground level residential. And it's a 2-story building directly behind what's my mother's house now. I still own the property.
What's the address that you...
2934 Hermosa Avenue.
Got it.
I just want to say when they did do that development, it's been a blessing to the neighborhood. It's been great because they took an old kind of abandoned body shop, turned it into residential. We didn't see any increase in traffic. Actually, along Honolulu, there's a lot of empty commercial lots. So to do a residential development is actually, I think, a perfect use for this. And I just happened to be here for our other hearing, and I think it's a pretty good development for that. Just
Okay,
all I
thank
have
you.
to say.
If you could fill out one of those green speaker cards, that'd be great. Okay, no one else wanting to speak? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'm going to take this case under submission. After the hearing, the decision will be prepared in writing, will be in the form of a letter sent to applicant and all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses, and provided their name and mailing address. The date of the decision will be the date appearing on the letter. Thank you. The next case we have scheduled for today is a variance located at 326 Kempton Road. This is an application for a standards variance to allow a 175 square foot area expansion to an existing 2-story, 2,586 square foot single-family house while not providing the required street front setback and exceeding the maximum allowable floor area for the floor area district. I have a brief presentation. Ms. Toledo?
Thank you, Mr. Collin. As you indicated, the project is case number variance PVAR 1917961, located at 326 Kempton Road. The application involves the addition of the 175 square foot floor area expansion to the existing 2-story, 2,586 square foot single-family house while not providing the required front setback and exceeding the maximum allowable 0.40 floor area ratio. The variance is required because the applicant is proposing to enclose that front entry covered porch and an existing breezeway located 6 feet from the property line where 15 feet would be required and increase the maximum allowable floor area ratio to 0.41 where 0.40 would be the maximum allowed. The total for the house, including the additions, will be 2,761 square feet. There's a little history on this project because back in, I want to say in 2014, in 2014, the planning hearing officer had also reviewed a variance case for the same exact proposal you have today before you. That decision was appealed to the Planning Commission. So that would be the last decision that stands for this project. That was in 2015. At that time, the Planning Commission reviewed and approved the same variances requested for the same proposed project before you today. However, the variances granted at that time expired because the variances requests were not exercised within the 2 years that is required from the approval date. In terms of the findings, staff is recommending approval in using the same rationale for the findings that were made by the Planning Commission. Again, those findings are before you and outlined in the staff report. As it relates to comments from any other divisions, we did not receive any comments, including neighborhood services, any significant issues. They were not raised for the variance requests. Since the variances are outlined in your staff report, I won't go into them unless you want me or desire more explanation on the findings, on how this project, why staff is recommending approval.
No, that's okay. I have a question, though, for you. Condition number 7 says the original variance granted September 30th, 1974 still applies. Is that meaning that you had mentioned that this is the same request as what was done previously?
Yes.
And that was approved by the Planning Commission. Does that mean that the conditions, are there any conditions in that approval different than what we have presented with this report?
I'd have to go back to those conditions. I don't think that there was, if I don't recall that there was anything noteworthy, but I would have to, again, go back to those conditions of approval. They seem pretty standard. And again, since variances run with the land, for that reason, the variance from 1974 would still apply as well, and that's why that's also mentioned in the in the conditions of approval. And that variance was to erect a dwelling 3 feet from the front property line and garage 1 foot from the front and side property lines.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm going to open up the public hearing. I have 1 speaker card. Or is there anybody else in the audience that wants to speak? Probably not. Okay. Sipan Nazarian, and please state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Sipan Nazarian, 705 Balboa Avenue, Glendale. Milka did a pretty good job explaining the project. In terms of what we're asking for, we've literally resubmitted the exact same thing, same drawings, just changed the dates for what was approved. A little background on why the project got to this state was we were actually, when we submitted for the variance, we had actually pulled permits to start the remodel, the remodeling of the interior, just to fast track the process. After the variance, the property owner had a pretty serious personal matters to the point where we weren't sure if he was going to own the property, and that's the reason it got delayed to this point. It wasn't a matter of funding or irresponsibility on his part. Things out of his hand. We literally did not know if he was going to own the property during that process. Now he does fully own the property. He always owned it, but now that matter is resolved. In terms of the hardships, the main hardship is, in terms of the setback, almost every other house there is within the 15 feet. So it's almost, the setback isn't really an issue. And granted, we do have a variance from 1974 for 3 feet. Basically, any kind of alteration you do is going to trigger that variance now, because the existing house is well within the 15 feet. In terms of the FAR, we're passing it by 1%, and the main hardship we have there is we have a substandard lot. The existing property is 6,672 square feet, which is by far the smallest property in the area. The current code in that R1 District 2 requires a 7,500 minimum square foot lot. Had we had a 7,500 square foot lot, the FAR with this addition that we're proposing of 175 square feet would only be the 36.8%. So we would be well within it. So that's the main reason that we're here for the variance, for the FAR. And also in terms of the overall design, we were very careful not to add to the mass of the building. The roof line stays exactly the same. There are no roof alterations. We're enclosing a front breezeway, which allows you to enter and exit your house from your garage. And right now, the street level, we'll call it, is detached with that breezeway, as well as a bedroom downstairs. So if you don't enclose the breezeway right now, in order to get to the house from that bedroom, you'd have to walk outside to get back in. But but the enclosure of the breezeway allows for that. If you look on the right there,
Here?
down. So this is the ground level. This is the lower level. So we just want to connect that because right now you have to come out of the kitchen and go into the guest room. But all we're doing is adding a glass door there, pretty much.
Closing in.
Right.
Got it.
And that allows you to just basically the house becomes one. It makes no sense to walk outside. And in terms of the second level, this is the existing front entry. We're not coming all the way to create a flat area. We're still going to be, we're keeping it 1 foot back. So in terms of the overall elevation, you're going to see exactly what you see here. Just the walls a little forward so that you can enter from the garage. And what we did to break the mass even more is instead of putting a solid wall here, we put a floor to ceiling glass. So that way it still gives almost looks like it did before.
But it's enclosed.
But it's enclosed now. Just basically with just glass. So again, we're pretty much, literally asking for the exact same things from before, and the Planning Commission did approve it. And in terms of kind of the elephant in the room of why it got denied in the first place, there was no real findings for the denial. And even when we went to the Planning Commission hearing, one of the officers literally said, "I can't believe that this project got to this point." So they unanimously overturned the decision, and it was approved based on the facts that we are not creating any detrimental effects on the neighborhood. A couple of neighbors at the Planning Commission hearing were here for another project and stayed on board and actually vouched for the project, and they were for it. Because literally we're not adding height, mass, or anything. If we didn't tell you and we did the construction and you drove by, you probably would not know that anything was done. It just looks almost the exact same.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do have a question for you. I'm sorry. Sipan?
Oh.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nazarian.
Sorry.
I do have a question. You've read through the conditions as outlined by staff in the staff report. Condition number 6 says that a design review approval shall be obtained prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Yes, actually, when we went for the remodel and through this process, we've met with Milka, and then at the time we were meeting with Jay also. We've met with them to get the design review exemptions based on the project. So the first time we submitted, we actually went. It took a lot longer to submit the project because we were getting the design review exemption.
Okay.
So yeah, we're okay with that if we have to do it again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Nobody else in the audience wishing to speak? I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and, based off the findings recommended by staff, facts and information presented at the hearing, and based on other applicable department input, I'm going to approve this variance. Case number PVAR 1917961, subject to the findings and conditions of approval with one change to number 6, that we add in the words "or design review exemption," and then leave the rest of the wording so that it can possibly be exempted and not be required to go to the board if you've already been working with staff and it's less than 200 square feet and possibly exemptable. Ms. Toledo?
Well, according to the code, something under 200 square feet facing the street is potentially exemptable.
Could be exemptable.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So after the hearing, as mentioned previously, the decision will be prepared in writing, will be in the form of a letter sent to the applicant and to all persons who responded to the public notice, either by speaking at this hearing or by submitting written responses and provided their name and mailing address. The date of decision will be the date appearing on the letter. As it relates to appeals, under appeal provision of Title 30, Chapter 30.62 of the Glendale Municipal Code, the decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission within 15 days of the date of the decision, Anyone wishing to appeal may obtain forms and brochures on the procedures from Building and Safety Section Permit Service Center located on the same floor of this building. This hearing is now officially closed. Thank you all for coming. It is 10:30 on December 18th. Thank you very much.
odds are, yeah, my world is filled with cheer and you. This Christmas, and as I look around, your eyes outshine the town, they do. This Christmas, fireside blazing bright, and we're caroling through the night. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me, yeah.
Recently, the western U.S. has averaged more than 1,900 earthquakes and 3,800 significant wildfires each year. So chances are there will be more of both near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
The holiday season is here, and so is Glendale's first ever outdoor ice rink. Get into the spirit and skate around with your friends and family at Glendale's Holiday on Ice. The ice rink is open from November 22nd through January 6th. Please visit glendalesholidayonice.com for more details.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Treehouse Tales at Glendale Public Library. My name is Carolyn Fleming and I work at the Central Library, and I'm really glad to see you here. We're going to do some of my favorite stories today. Now I have a question for you before we even begin. How many of you have a favorite dress if you're a girl, or a favorite shirt, or a favorite pair of pants, favorite pair of shoes, or a favorite necklace? Do you have a favorite something to wear? I'll bet you do. What is it? You have cowboy boots. That's what you love to wear. Well, I'll bet you in the audience have something favorite to wear too. What if you had 9 or 10 or 11 favorite things to wear? What would happen then? I have a story about a girl who wore too much. And this is a folk tale from Thailand. It's retold by Margaret Reed MacDonald, and it's illustrated by Yvonne Lebrun Davis. And at the very bottom of every page in this story, if you look really carefully, you'll see the words are written in Thai. And the Thai text is by Supraporn Vathanaprada. The girl who wore too much. Ari's parents gave her everything she wanted. They showered that girl with gifts. Ari, those golden earrings would look so attractive on your dainty ear. We must buy them for you. Oh, Ari, that silver bracelet, it would look so lovely on your little arm. We must buy it for you. Ari, that ruby ring, it would look so sweet on your slender finger. We must buy it for you. And whatever they saw, and whenever they saw an especially beautiful silk, they would buy it. Oh, Ari, you would look so lovely in that color. We must buy it for you. Look at all those gorgeous colors. Ari's room was stuffed with boxes of jewels and chests full of silk. And then she heard of a dance in the village beyond the mountains. Now I can show off my fine clothes. But which color should I wear? The pink, the fuchsia, the scarlet, the sky blue, or the aquamarine? Maybe the violet, the deep purple, magenta, maybe chartreuse or emerald green. I think I'll wear the pink. She put on a pasan of bright pink silk. But there was a green the color of emeralds. The green is so elegant. Perhaps I could wear them both. So she quickly put the green right on top of the pink. Now I can show off 2 of my silks. Still, The fuchsia was the brightest of them all. I think I'll wear it too. And putting the fuchsia on top of the green, she twirled around and around. I'm going to be the most beautiful girl at the dance. This chartreuse is especially gorgeous. And look at this bright blue. No one has silk as expensive as mine. Why not? I'll wear them too. The aquamarine, the violet, and this purple with threads of pure gold. With all of my dresses, I'm certain to be the most beautiful girl at the dance. And putting dress over dress, that vain girl soon had chosen them all. Wearing all of those heavy dresses, Ari could hardly move. They are a bit heavy, but look at me, the most beautiful girl at the dance. Now, which bracelet should I wear? The gold, yes. The silver, of course. The jade, my favorite. And my rings, the ruby, the sapphire, the emerald, the pearl, the opal, oh yes. Soon she was wearing every piece of jewelry she owned. Just then her friends arrived. Ari, you look... They didn't know what to say. Ari stumbled from her house wearing silks, rings, bracelets, earrings. She could hardly walk, but she was proud. Just look at my beautiful clothes. Just look at my gold and jewels. I am certain to be the most beautiful girl at the dance. Ari looked so silly that her friends could hardly keep from laughing. They started off for the dance, but Ari could not keep up. Soon she was huffing and puffing. Wait, wait for me. I can't get up the hill. Her friends came back to help. We could push you up the hill. No, don't push. You'll wrinkle my dresses. Well, we could pull you up the hill. Don't pull. You'll soil my silk clothes. So the girls left Ari and went on. Ari stumbled along for a while, but soon, wait for me, wait for me. I can't get up the hill. Her friends came back once more. Ari, take off your bracelets, take off your heavy rings, and take off some of those dresses. Then you can climb up the hill. You are just jealous of my fine clothing. And if I take them off, I won't be the most beautiful girl at the dance. Ari refused to take off anything at all. So her friends left her there. They went on to the dance without her. All day in the hot sun, Ari trudged up the hill, and by nightfall she had just reached the top. There she stopped, stuck in all her heavy clothes, too exhausted to take another step. When her friends returned from the dance, Ari was still too tired to move. By the time they had fetched her parents, Ari was vain no more. Mother, Father, I wore too much. I don't need all of these clothes. Then take off some of your dresses. Take off some of the heavy jewelry. We have taught you to want too much. You must learn to be happy with less. So jewel by jewel and dress by dress, Ari gave away all of her things. And the next time she went to a dance, she was lovely in one simple dress. Has anything like that ever happened to you where you put on so many clothes you couldn't even move? I don't think so. No. But I'll bet some wonderful things have happened to you. we're going to read a story called Something Wonderful. Everybody wishes for something wonderful to happen to them or for them to be special in some way. And this is a story about a hen who wanted to do something wonderful. It's written by Jenny Nemo and it's illustrated by Debbie Boone. Now you know where hens normally lay their eggs, don't you? Where do they lay their eggs? Where? In their nests, right. Well, sometimes they don't always do the right thing. Little Hen lived on a farm. She lived in the chicken house with Lily and Biddle and Rosie and Gertie and Arthur, too. Mr. and Mrs. Field lived in the farmhouse. Lily and Biddle, Rosie and Gertie had all won prizes. Little Hen had never won a prize. She asked Lily and Biddle and Rosie and Gertie how they had won their prizes. "We're very special," they said. "We have special names. A white leghorn, a black rock hen, a Rhode Island red hen, and a silver lace hen." "How can I be special?" asked the little hen. "You can't," they said. "You're too small and ordinary." Little Hen was very sad. Mrs. Field was worried about Little Hen. She looked so forlorn. "Don't be sad because you're small," said Mrs. Field. "Small creatures can do wonderful things. Look at spiders." Little Hen thought, "I'm not a spider." But she did feel better all the same. In the chicken house that night, Little Hen said, "I'm going to do something wonderful." "You!" cried the other hens. "Don't be silly." And they fell down laughing. But Arthur didn't laugh. The next day, it was very hot in the barnyard. And one by one, the hens went out into the woods. They laid their eggs in the same shady nest in the woods, and then they forgot about them, except for Little Hen. "Who's going to take care of the eggs?" she called. But none of them heard her. That evening, there were no eggs in the nesting box, and there was no Little Hen. None of the hens knew where Little Hen was, and they had forgotten where they'd laid their own eggs. "Little Hen is so silly," said Lily. "She probably got lost," said Biddle. "I hope not," said Arthur. "Where are the eggs?" asked Farmer Field. "There are no eggs," said Mrs. Field. "And Little Hen is missing." "Oh dear," said Farmer Field. "She must be lost." Well, that night there was a terrible storm. The hens heard the thunder and the rain. "Silly Little Hen," said Rosie. "She'll get wet." "Perhaps she'll drown," said Gertie. "Oh, I wish she'd come back," said Arthur. But Little Hen didn't come back. Where do you think she is? The next evening, Mrs. Field found 4 eggs in the nesting box. "Good girls," she told the hens, but she missed Little Hen. Farmer Field had 2 eggs, but Mrs. Field couldn't eat. "Little Hen hasn't come back yet," she said. "Oh dear," said Farmer Field. "Perhaps she drowned in the storm." Well, that night there was a great wind. The hens heard the wind. "Silly Little Hen," said Lily. "She's so small she'll blow away," said Biddy. "I miss her," said Arthur. Many days went by, and Little Hen didn't come back. Mrs. Field made lots of cakes, but she wasn't happy. And one day, in the nest in the woods, something began to happen. Now you know where Little Hen was? Oh, cried Little Hen, crack, 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 crack. Oh! Little Hen walked out of the woods, across the field, and into the barnyard. Mrs. Field jumped for joy and ran to tell Farmer Field. 5 new chicks, she said. Lily and Biddy and Rosie and Gertie said nothing at all. Look what I've done, said Little Hen. Little Hen, you've done something wonderful, said Arthur. And he gave Little Hen her very own special prize. And that's the story of Little Hen. All right. You ready for another? We have lots of animal stories. I have another animal story with me called Rhinos for Lunch and Elephants for Supper. Not what you'd normally eat for lunch or supper, is it? And the story is an old Maasai tale written by Talalma Malel and illustrated by Barbara Spurl. Rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. When you put your hands around your mouth, what happens to your voice? Yes, tell me. It gets louder, right. Does that happen in other places too? What makes your voice louder? What? Me? Yes.
It gets more louder.
And gets louder. What other times does it get louder besides when you put your hands beside your mouth? When you go into a tunnel, when you go into a cave, into a tunnel and a cave, and sometimes when you hear an echo of your voice too, right? Well, after a pleasant walk in the forest, a little hare cheerfully arrived back at the cave where her den was hidden. I'll hop in, she thought happily, roast a few nuts for lunch, and have a pleasant nap. She was about to enter when a rustling sound inside the cave made her heart jump. Who's there? Called the hare. A monster! A monster! Boomed a voice. I eat rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. Come in if you dare. The hare was terrified and ran away. Along the way, she met a fox and told him of the monster. I'll get him out for you, said the fox. You can't, shrieked the hare. He eats rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. Come, I'll sink my teeth into him and I'll drive him away, said the fox. At the cave, the fox bared his teeth and barked, This is the home of my friend the hare. Come out, you bully of a monster, before I sink my teeth into your neck. I'm a monster, came the voice, rocking the earth and echoing through the forest. I eat rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. Come in if you dare. The fox fled, and the hare close behind him. By and by, they met a leopard, and they told him of the monster. Oh, come, I'll drive him away for you, promised the leopard. At the cave, the leopard bared his claws and growled, This is the home of my friend hare. Come out, you brute of a monster, before I claw your eyes out. I'm a monster, cried the voice. I eat rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. Come in if you dare." Well, the leopard went leaping away with the fox and the hare right behind him. They didn't stop until they met a rhino. "Leave him to me," rumbled the rhino when he heard about the monster. "One poke with my horn, and he'll be out in the bush." The rhino marched to the cave, followed by the leopard, the fox, and the hare. He snorted, and he pawed the ground with his massive feet, but before he could speak, out boomed the voice, and away thundered the rhino with the leopard, the fox, the hare right behind. Along the way, they met an elephant and told him of the monster. "Oh, come, follow me," bellowed the elephant. "A good thrashing with my trunk ought to bounce him out of there." But his bellowing did no good. Once again, with the elephant in the lead, they all stampeded away from the frightening voice in the cave. As the animals went crashing through the forest, the ground shook and woke up a little frog, who came strolling out of her hole. "What is the meaning of all this?" she demanded angrily. "Your foolish noise woke me up." On hearing about the monster, the little frog calmed down somewhat and thought for a moment, and then she said, "Come, I'll drive him out for you." The animals stared at her. "You, a frog, drive out the monster who eats rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper?" "If I'm to finish my nap, I'll have to," said the frog. And then, chewing on her pipe and swinging her walking stick, she led the way, cool and confident as can be. When she got to the cave, she said to the monster, "This is the home of my great friend the hare. Come out, whoever you are, before I come in and get you." "I'm a monster, a monster," came the reply. "I eat rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. Come in if you dare." "I'm the great eater, the great eater," boomed back the frog. "I eat rhinos for breakfast and elephants for lunch and monsters for supper. I'm coming, I'm coming." Everything was silent, and then out of the dark crawled a tiny caterpillar, blinking his eyes, rubbing his ears. "My word," he exclaimed in a small voice, "what an echo there is in this cave. Hardly the place to stay for a snooze." And to himself he added, "Though I did try my best." With a mischievous wink, he merrily sauntered on his way. The animals looked at one another in disbelief, and then the hare hopped about and giggled. The fox danced around and cackled. The leopard leapt about and roared, and the rhino bounded about and howled, and the elephant rolled around and laughed away. As for the brave little frog, she didn't so much as crack a smile. "Come with me," she called after the caterpillar. "I know just the place for," and she turned and glowered at the laughing animals, an uninterrupted afternoon nap. Then, swinging her walking stick and chewing on her pipe, she led the way, cool and confident as can be. And that's the story of rhinos for lunch and elephants for supper. All right. I know a very favorite topic for many people is pirates. And I have a story about pirates for you today. But these aren't your ordinary pirates. These are pirates who are also rabbits. And this one's called Henry and the Buccaneer Bunnies. And this is written by Carolyn Creamy and illustrated by John Manders. Cruising the seven seas on a crickety old ship called the Salty Carrot sailed a wild and rowdy bunch of buccaneer bunnies. They were bad, bad bunnies, all right. When the pirates on other ships saw their long floppy ears and their fluffy white tails, they shook with fear. The captain of the Salty Carrot was Barnacle Blackear, the baddest bunny brute of all times. Blackear was proud of his wooden paw, his golden earrings, and his mean reputation. What Blackear was not proud of was his son, Henry. Instead of performing his proper pirating chores, Henry was more interested in reading the books that the buccaneers stole from other ships. "Shout, shiver me timbers," Blackear ordered. "I'd rather finish this chapter," said Henry. "Make this prisoner walk the plank." "Can't I just read about it?" asked Henry. "Find yourself a parrot for your shoulder." "Well, I need to read up on parrot care first," said Henry. "Buccaneer bunnies don't need books," said Blackear. "Toss them overboard," he yelled to the other bunnies. "No, wait," cried Henry. "Just let me finish them first." "Avast," said Blackear. "Swab the decks until you come to your senses." And so Henry swabbed the decks day after day while reading some of his favorite books, like Rabbitson Crusoe and 30 Days to Longer Years. "Bet you can't learn how to do this from a book," said Jean the Hare while sharpening his hook. Henry sighed and turned a page. "You'll never find booty like this in a book," Calico Jack Rabbit told him, holding up his stolen loot. Henry shrugged and turned a page. "Can't do this with a book in your paw," Bartholomew Bunny said while sanding his peg leg. Henry just turned another page. As much as he loved the books, Henry was one lonely buccaneer bunny. If ever there was one. Then, one morning, he looked up at the red sky and he wiggled his little pink nose. He heard the parrot squawk and he saw fish jumping out of the water. If my books on meteorology are correct, those signs mean a big storm is coming, headed this way, he thought. Henry tried telling Jean Le Hare about the upcoming storm. "Excuse me, but I think a storm is coming," Henry cried. But Jean was too busy polishing his pieces of 8. "Go back to your books, Henry." He tried telling Calico Jack Rabbit. "I'm pretty sure a storm is on his way," Henry said. But Calico Jack was too busy admiring his tattoo of a cabbage. "Don't bother me now, Henry." Finally, Henry cried, "Batten down the hatches, a huge storm is coming." "What do you know about storms?" Blackear demanded. "Get back to swabbing the deck before I make shark bait out of those books of yours." Henry did as he was told, but he kept his little pink eyes on the sky. And when he saw the rats abandoning the ships, he started picking up his books and packing them away in empty treasure chests. The storm started small. A few low grumbles of thunder, a spike of lightning, and then suddenly a crashing, bashing, thrashing wildcat of a hurricane broke loose. It shook the ship. Suffering sea dogs! It mangled the masts. Great blimey bilges! It slashed the sails and it damaged the deck and it ripped up the rickety old salty carrot. All that was left floating on the choppy waters were a bunch of soggy bunnies and Henry's treasure chests filled with books. When the storm finally calmed down, Blackear, Henry, and the rest of the buccaneers paddled to the nearest island. "We're ruined," cried Blackear. "No ship, no pieces of eight, no gems." He sat in the sand and he blubbered like a lily-livered landlubber. But Henry got to work. The first thing he did was build a 2-story hut out of palm fronds and coconuts. "How did you learn to do that?" asked Blackear. "Oh, I read it in 101 Things to Do with Palm Fronds and Coconuts," sighed Henry. Next, he built a fire and cooked up a tasty seaweed stew. "Blimey," said the hungry bunnies. "Where did you learn that?" "I found the recipe in Quick and Easy Meals for Marooned Pirates," said Henry. And then he made them all fetching garments to wear from the bits and pieces he had salvaged from the shipwreck. "We look like gentle bunnies, we do. What swank swashbucklers we are. Arg, and it's all from them landlubbin' books," said Blackear, shaking his head. Henry taught Blackear and the Buccaneer bunnies all kinds of useful things, like how to plant carrots, make their best sand castles, and build boats out of palm fronds. Soon, they built a brand new ship, which they sailed to the library at the nearby Easter Islands every summer. Here, the bunnies spent many happy hours slurping seaweed stew and reading books. "Aye, Buccaneer bunnies will always need books," said Blackear. Henry just smiled and turned the page. And that's the end of Henry and the Buccaneer bunnies. And that's the last of our stories for today. Thank you all for coming to Treehouse Tales, and I hope you'll come and visit us at the library many times and find more books to read and enjoy. Goodbye.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
I am a boy. That's right, I don't look like one. I didn't even know that I was.
I didn't really do anything wrong.
I wanted to make my friends laugh. I didn't shove her in a locker or knock her books out of her hands. And every time I called her, my friends would giggle. I was just teasing her a little. Everyone does it.
So I kept doing it.
Even if it was a little meaner.
My friends thought it was awesome.
So I thought it was awesome too.
I never meant any harm.
I felt powerful.
Not really.
It was fun to be in control.
I was admired.
Then she dropped out of school. Her parents moved her away, and I was like, for what?
They said people here had mistreated her. I was like, who?
I didn't know I was a bully.
I didn't know I was a bully.
But I am.
Who are you?
I am not a bully.
I am not a bully.
I am not a bully. I am not a bully.
Yo no soy un bully.
Are you?
Are you?
Are you?
The holidays are just around the corner, so chances are you'll be spending a lot more time in the kitchen. But if you're not careful, preparing a family feast could be a recipe for disaster. Here are some key ingredients to having a safe holiday season. Do not leave the kitchen if you have something on the stovetop. If you must leave your home for even a short period of time, turn off the stove or oven. Keep children a safe distance away from the stove to prevent burns from steam and or splash from hot food and liquids. Keep the kitchen floor clear so you do not trip over kids, toys, pets, or bags. Keep knives out of the reach of children. Be sure electrical cords from kitchen appliances are not dangling off the counter. Keep flammable items off of your stovetop. Use the stove's back burners whenever possible. Turn pot handles inward to reduce the risk of knocking over pots. Make sure smoke detectors are working properly. Test them by pushing the test button. Keep a multi-purpose fire extinguisher in the kitchen and know how to use it. If a stovetop fire occurs, do not pour water on it. Turn off source of heat, suffocate the flame. You can cover it with a lid, another pot, or baking pan. If you can't cover it, dump baking soda on it. Do not attempt to move the pot, and if the fire gets out of control, don't try to be a hero. Get out and call 911. So as you're preparing your holiday feast, remember, by following a few simple safety tips, you can keep yourself and your family safer from fire. And happy holidays from Glendale Fire Department.
Fats, oils, and grease are a product of cooking and can be found in various things like baking goods, butter, lard, shortening, cooking oil, fats and oil from cooked meats, food scraps, gravy, mayonnaise, salad dressings, sauces, and sour cream. If fats, oils, and grease aren't disposed of properly and are poured down the drain, it can lead to a buildup and blockage of sanitary sewer lines. When a blockage occurs, a sewer backup can occur on your property or overflow onto the street and into local waterways, causing contamination. To help prevent sewage overflows in contaminated waterways, follow these steps. Pour cooled fats, oils, and grease into a container. Use a paper towel or napkin to wipe the remaining. When cooled, take it to the city's Environmental Management Center on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. For more information, visit Glendale Fire Department's Environmental Management Center webpage or call 818-548-3227.
What goes down the drain should stay down the drain, but sometimes stuff happens. Sewer backups can result in untreated sewage overflows into our homes, onto our streets, and into our environment. This isn't just gross, it's also a serious public health hazard. If sewage reaches the street, it can get to the LA River and out to the ocean. Beach day, anyone? Glendale's Public Works Department works hard to keep the sewers flowing properly and to keep you and your family safe. But we still need your help to report possible backups and overflows. If you see water flowing out of a manhole, whether in the street or any other location, or if you have a serious backup on your property, don't wait to report it. It's better to report a possible issue than to have this happen to you and your neighbors. To report sewer backups and overflows in the city of Glendale, please call Public Works 24 hours a day at 818-548-3950. The sooner you report a problem, the sooner we can fix it.
You get up, you get dressed, get out the door, rush to work, grab a drink, hurry home. No time to think, it's time to go. Stop. 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 It's time to try something else. Make a little eye contact. Make a plan. Let them know you see them. Let someone else take the wheel. It's a busy world out there. We're all in it together. Go safely, California.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Did you know that an ambulance transport can cost as much as $1,000? Even with insurance, co-payments, and deductibles, it can still cost between $50 and $200 or more. But when you need emergency medical services, these costs should not be a concern. Acting on its commitment to provide high-level emergency medical services, the Glendale Fire Department has developed Glendale Medic, a voluntary membership program to help prevent these unexpected expenses. For only $60 a year, Glendale Medic gives residents unlimited access to emergency medical services and emergency transport from any Glendale location to local area hospitals. Membership covers the applicant and all family members living in the same household, all for the same low price. Local business owners can also offer the program as a benefit to their employees. Glendale Medic for Business provides the same service for up to 10 employees for the same price of $60 a year. For businesses with more than 10 employees, it's only $24 more a year for each additional 10 employees. Glendale Medic program members who have insurance and/or Medicare pay no out-of-pocket cost for emergency medical services provided by the Glendale Fire Department. Members who do not have medical insurance will receive a 50% discount on emergency ambulance bills. For added convenience, the membership fee can be added to an existing GWP bill on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, so there are no new bills in the mail to worry about. Belonging to Glendale Medic gives you the peace of mind in not having to worry whether your insurance will pay the bill for emergency paramedic and transport services. For more detailed information about Glendale Medic, please call 818-548-4041. The The brochure and application are available for download at glendalefire.org.
Life is full of bittersweet transitions. It's difficult to know how these changes will impact us over time. They can hit harder than expected and may contribute to feelings of hopelessness.
You good, sir?
Or even thoughts of suicide.
We got this.
Support from friends and family can make a big difference to a veteran going through a difficult time.
We've got this, Dad.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
I got this.
Together, our actions could help save a life. Learn more at veteranscrisisline.net.
Whether you're into roller skating, building robots, or being creative, Glendale is home to some amazing companies and public spaces that encourage kids to get out and get active. Sparks fly when you combine the imagination of kids and robots. Rolling Robots opens the world of technology through the universal language of fun. Rolling Robots has created an exciting learning environment for your little tech geniuses who love to design, build, create, and compete with their awesome robots. Kids ages 4 to 14 can participate in many STEM and robotic workshops or camps all year long. It's also the original home to the Robot Battle and Robot Build birthday party. Kids can battle Robo-Warriors in the center ring and build their very own motorized robots to take home. If you're looking for a restaurant that brings together high-end organic food with active, cutting-edge play and entertainment for children, then Giggles and Hugs is the place for you. Each Giggles and Hugs location has a unique family-friendly atmosphere. The Glendale location in the Galleria transports kids to a land far, far away, hosting everything from royal balls to superhero missions. Daily entertainment such as bubble parties will captivate kids for hours, while the parents have a chance to take a breath and eat some amazing food. Lace up your skates and get ready to boogie around the rink at Moonlight Rollerway. Moonlight Rollerway opens its doors every day to kids of all ages, inviting them to skate and dance to the greatest hits. There's an old school snack bar to satisfy hot dog and soda cravings. Four-wheeled skates can be rented on site, and kids just learning the trade can take lessons in the rink. If you don't think you can spend a full day with kids at this rink, think again. If they're not skating, they're definitely enjoying the arcade. Red vest, blue vest. After this, there's no turning back. Jungle Zone laser tag sits at the heart of Glendale and includes an 1,800 square foot dimly lit arena. Guests put on a state-of-the-art Nexus FEC vest and step into the darkened jungle labyrinth. The zone offers the ultimate entertainment experience with an arcade and virtual reality. You can plan to have your next party here or stop by for a spontaneous battle with friends. The City of Glendale's parks and libraries are perfect places for your kids to get out and get active. Glendale has 36 parks and 8 libraries that can fill your kids' afternoon with adventure on the field and through the books. Glendale Parks and Recreation's Leisure Guide provides the community with a number of activities they can enjoy through the seasons. Check out the Leisure Guide online to see what activities Parks and Recreations has to offer. Glendale's libraries also have exciting activities and workshops to help your kids gain skills in reading, programming, and more. Our libraries host story times for all ages and have opportunities for kids to explore their creative side. For more fun activities at Glendale Public Libraries, visit glendaleca.gov/library. No matter the season, Glendale has tons of activities for kids to enjoy and parents to take a short breather.
Have you ever suspected another motorist of driving under the influence? Now you can play a role in getting these drivers off the road before they kill or injure someone. If you see a driver and suspect that they are drunk, call 911. Report the vehicle make and model, the license plate number, and exact location. Together, we can reduce the impact of drunk drivers. Your call could save a life. A message from the Office of Traffic Safety and the California Highway Patrol.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Community leaders established the Glendale Youth Alliance in 1993 to provide jobs and employment preparedness training for at-risk youth ages 14 to 24. We make a special effort to serve our participants with further barriers to employment. GYA currently operates 5 programs that serve between 350 to 500 youth annually based on available budget. We not only provide employment, but comprehensive services to meet personal needs. We provide one-on-one case management, employment training, and scholarship opportunities.
I moved to the United States 2.5 years ago, and Glendale Youth Alliance gave me my first job. I just started college, and I'm proud to say that I'm the recipient of the Gas Company Scholarship. I also need to buy books and stuff, so for that the scholarship will help a lot.
It's important to give kids or almost adults real-life experiences, especially in technical and artistic fields. Not everybody is going to go work in an office. There are other avenues for kids to have jobs or look at careers.
The GYA has really helped me bridge the gap between high school and the CTE courses and then going into a real-world job and a career. And it really prepared me to move on after high school and to really have a financial holding.
It's been a fantastic program, and we like the aspect of working with education and giving students the ability to get a better sense of what the work environment is like so they can base future career decisions.
Our strong partnerships with local businesses and organizations expose our participants to various industries while providing hiring incentives for the businesses. In addition to employment, our partners also provide supportive services, such as work attire, bus tokens, housing, food, and other referrals to meet their individual needs.
It's been a great learning experience. I'm grateful for the GYA for helping me find what I want to do in life and helping me find out what I have a passion for.
You're involved with the professionals in that industry, and that's the best you can take from, because learning from them is first-hand experience that a lot of people don't get.
I started working with Glendale Youth Alliance when I was 14 years old with Brush program, and I did that for about 3 years, and then I was able to go into different fields such as working in the park with kids and a gym, and then now I'm working at a physical therapy office. And it has helped me become a more well-rounded individual, and it has helped me gain experience and become a leader.
GYA serves the youth of today and develops the leaders of tomorrow. For more information, please call 818-937-8073 or visit us at glendaleyouthAlliance.org.
The holiday season is here, and so is Glendale's first ever outdoor ice rink. Get into the spirit and skate around with your friends and family at Glendale's Holiday on Ice. The ice rink is open from November 22nd through January 6th. Please visit glendalesholidayonice.com for more details.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Every year, stray mylar balloons cause power disruptions that impact thousands of homes and businesses. In 2017 alone, Glendale experienced 26 power outages caused by balloons, making up 31% of total outages that year. Just one metallic balloon can cause a surge of electricity that short-circuits equipment and triggers an explosion, leading to power outages, fires, and possible injuries. And to make matters worse, the amount of damage to the lines and equipment caused by mylars yield longer restoration times. Don't let metallic balloons ruin the party. Never release balloons outside. Keep them secure at all times and dispose of them properly. Your safety is in your power.
Hi, my name is Savannah Spicer, and welcome to A Spice of Glendale. Tonight we're here at Studio Movie Grill to enjoy dinner and a movie. Located in the Artsock Paseo, this Studio Movie Grill delivers the modern movie-going experience, combining movies with full service and theater dining. Before your movie begins, you can grab a drink at their full-service bar. Cheers! The bar offers a variety of premium craft cocktails that you can enjoy at the lounge areas or from the comfort of your own theater seat. Once you grab your seat, you can order from a full menu. Studio Movie Grill offers a made-to-order American Grill menu. The Southwest Chicken Pasta and Capicola Mushroom Flatbread are new to the Glendale location. The theater seats are customized to give you the best experience possible. You won't want to leave your seat in these custom luxury recliners. Just press the push for service button and a server will come directly to you. Studio Movie Grill makes the movie experience comfortable and convenient so you never miss a moment.
The Glendale Community Services and Parks Department is responsible for 285.5 acres of developed parkland and over 5,000 acres of open space. This includes 35 parks, the Civic Auditorium, 4 community centers, 6 sports facilities, and 4 historic buildings. Glendale offers indoor and outdoor recreation programs and facilities for every passion, skill level, and age, for you and your family throughout the year. There is everything from sports programs to hiking trails right here in your neighborhood. Many of our parks and recreation facilities have tennis courts, basketball courts, picnic areas, softball fields, children's playgrounds, pools, and so much more. You can run, bike, or take a walk on our beautifully landscaped trails and parks. Community services and parks are essential for a good quality of life in a community. From health and environmental benefits to providing gathering places for families and social groups, community services and parks offer tremendous value to the Glendale community. With so much to offer, you will always have some place to go and something to do. This is who we are, what we do, and how we do it. This is My Glendale.
The holiday season is here, and so is Glendale's first ever outdoor ice rink. Get into the spirit and skate around with your friends and family at Glendale's Holiday on Ice. The ice rink is open from November 22nd through January 6th. Please visit glendalesholidayonice.com for more details.
Above the trees, wave to Santa, yay! Everybody, wave to Santa! Ho,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 43rd annual Montrose Glendale Christmas Parade. This Montrose Christmas Parade began in the early 1950s when MGM musical star Dennis Morgan created an afternoon holiday party which marched down Honolulu Avenue in broad daylight. This was Mr. Morgan's gift to the community.
Sadly, when Mr. Morgan moved away, the parade came to an end. In 1976, local merchant Frank Roberts, in an effort to rejuvenate sales for retail shops and businesses along Honolulu, revived the parade as a nighttime extravaganza. The new version of the parade caught the imagination of the young and the old, and as they say in the business, the rest is history.
Well, I'm sure glad to be back here with you, Jane, after a one-year hiatus. I'd like to introduce my co-host this evening, Jane Kane. She's a residential realtor with 35 years of experience at Compass Real Estate. She's a resident of Spar Heights. She has two lovely daughters that are both here this evening, Casey and Mallory, and their perfect son-in-law, Chase, and their brand new grandson, Hobie Lou Navarro.
Okay, I'm going to do it one more time, too. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day here a little bit. Rick Dinger is a lifelong Glendalean, is past president of Montrose Verdugo City Chamber of Commerce and the owner of Crescenta Valley Insurance. He's married to his beautiful wife, Heather, who is celebrating her birthday this evening. However, I said, but had a bigger gig. They had three sons, Carl, Hayden, and Gavin. And Gavin is here tonight wandering around somewhere.
Here comes the start of our parade. Here comes the annual banner, which announces the parade, and directly behind them we have the San Bernardino Rangers, which is an equestrian-oriented service organization that was founded in the 1940s. At the beginning, the Rangers were formed and incorporated to supplement a manpower shortage caused in the San Bernardino Valley Police Department due to the World War II. At the end of the war, the Rangers became a service organization involved in working with handicapped children in equestrian-related events. The Rangers are supported by their female counterpart group, the Ranger Sidekicks, who work hand in hand with them in all the Ranger activities and the things they support. Welcome, San Bernardino Rangers.
Always have such beautiful, beautiful horses to ride. Thank you. Oh my gosh, there's the scoopers that are all decorated. I love that. Next we've got the CVHS, Crescenta Valley High School Junior ROTC Honor Guard. The CVHS AFJ ROTC was established in 1988 as an Air Force-sponsored citizenship program promoting life skills, aerospace science, and leadership. We welcome them back to our parade. We're lucky to have them quite often. I think almost every year that I've been here, they've been here. And that's a long time.
Next up is the American Legion Post 288 and the VFW Post number 1614. The American Legion, the VFW, are still serving and ask that you please remember our servicemen and women serving around the world who are away from their families during this time of year. Thank you for all you do, VFW and American Legion. Some local true American heroes rolling through here now.
And their beautifully decorated truck as they're coming down the parade route.